2 Timothy 3:16 does not say the Bible is inspired. Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. The fit for this video is the Ninja Turtles. And there are a number of reasons for this, but to begin, scholars are in pretty widespread agreement that 2 Timothy, along with 1 Timothy and the Epistle of Titus, are pseudepigraphic. They're false writings. They were not written by Paul. They were written by someone pretending to be Paul, probably long after his death, either the last quarter of the 1st century CE or the first quarter of the 2nd century CE. So this is written much later by someone who is already not being perfectly honest with us. The next reason that 2 Timothy 3:16 doesn't say the Bible is inspired is because the Bible didn't exist when this was written. The Bible, a single volume of text referred to as the Bible, that wouldn't happen until around 400 CE. And we wouldn't even have all scripture brought together into a single collection until the 4th century CE. Now, by the time 2 Timothy had been written, the Gospels and probably the letters of Paul may have been considered scripture. We don't actually see any text of the New Testament refer to any other text of the New Testament as scripture until 2 Peter, which is probably written in the 2nd quarter of the 2nd century CE. Again, obviously not by Peter. And so it's not clear whether or not any of the texts of the New Testament were thought to be scripture by the time of the composition of 2 Timothy. So when 2 Timothy refers to the scriptures, they're referring to the Jewish scriptures. And they're arguing for the continued relevance of the Jewish scriptures. These are useful for reproof, for training in righteousness, and so on. But the big question is, what does it mean for all scripture to be theopneustos, God-breathed? We understand this to mean inspired, but it's not the normal Greek term for inspired. That's entheos. And we don't have theopneustos being used as a synonym for entheos until the 3rd century CE, when suddenly Origen of Alexandria quotes this passage dozens of times and argues strenuously that it means inspired, and it means that the New Testament is inspired. Prior to Origen, no one makes that argument, and no one uses the word that way. They use theopneustos, God-breathed, to mean something entirely different. It's God-breathed in the sense of God breathed the breath of life into the first human. In other words, life-giving. And so we see theopneustos being used to refer to water, to sandals, to ointments and perfumes that are used to treat a deceased body for 3 days after their death, as it says in the Testament of Abraham. And the logic here is that this body needs to appear lifelike. We need to preserve its lifelike appearance in case the spirit returns to the body in those 3 days. And so the most likely intended sense of 2 Timothy 3:16 when it was originally written is all scripture is life-giving and useful for rebuke and for training in righteousness, and so on. And for the best argument for this, check out John C. Poirier's 2021 book, The Invention of the Inspired Text. And once again, 2 Timothy 3:16 does not say the Bible is inspired. It says all scripture is life-giving.